Hey, how are you? This is Nomad here. So I just want to riff on some things that have been happening to me lately. I have a lot of thoughts on my mind, and I just don't know how to package it really. So I'm just going to start talking, because I'll be walking, and then I'll think, dang, that was a good point. I wish I had put that on the blog. I've been thinking a lot about our system here in America and this debt system that we have, and how unfair it is, and how it's just such a indentured servitude situation. It's like the whole system is based on it. Unless you're one of the few people, I would say the top 10% who for whatever reason have access to property. Either you inherited the property, or you got a really high paying job and you could pay cash for some property, but who can live without being in debt. And I'm not talking about just you don't need the debt, but you just have a credit card for the points. I'm talking about where you need the debt to survive, to live, right? It's like for most Americans, that's what we have to do. And it's just, I'm really beginning to see this system here as, how it's designed. And it's so pervasive and it's everywhere that you don't even realize it. And then you're indoctrinated with the media and everything to think it's normal. So you think, oh, this is normal. Yeah, and that's just crazy. So I just see that now, and it's annoying. Like, and then you buy into, like, so you borrow money for school, right? Like, they get you right off the gate, like right when you come out. It's something to think about. Like, like you go to college, and then basically, they hit you with student debt, right? You got to borrow money so that you can, go to school, and then right out the gate you're in debt, right? And then basically, let's say you go through school and you get out, assuming you get out of school, assuming you're not one of those poor souls who went to a for-profit school like ITT Tech, and they you take out a ton of student loans for a school that's not even really going to help you. The bottom line is you end up getting a job. You're already out behind the times, as far as all this debt. And then you got to get a car. You got to, let's say you get a job, you got to get a car. So you got to borrow money for that. I mean, most people, that's what they do, because you want to get the nice car, right? You feel like you deserve it as time has passed. And then, you got to get an apartment, right? So you want to move out of your parents' place, whatever. And then you get that. And then you got to, get credit cards, or hitting you up with credit cards left and right, probably. And then you borrow money to furnish your apartment or house, or then you go to buy a house. You got to save up the down payment on top of paying rent, on top of paying your student loans, and eventually you can get this down payment. Housing prices are going up and up, so the down payment gets higher and higher. Eventually you're married, or you have a spouse or whatever, and you guys together work hard and you save your money, like in the ideal scenario. And then finally, or maybe your parents help you, whatever, you're able to put a down payment on this house. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you sign a 30-year mortgage on that. And it's crazy, and that's the model that we're taught. That's the path that we're taught we're supposed to follow. And it's just insane. And I've been trying to follow that model my whole life. And it's worse for me because I don't have a typical 9-to-5 job. I'm self-employed, so it's even worse. My income is unpredictable, right? So I don't know. It's I'm sure some people, they can make that work, especially if you have a good paying job. Sure, it's just a matter of inconvenience, right? Like maybe, you're at your job, maybe your job's okay, and it's just a matter of like, okay, I just have to pay these bills. But for some of us who don't have, are trying to pursue like our dream, whatever that is, which has been my case for the last 18 years. I have some all I can call it is purpose work, dream work, purpose work. It's stuff that I really feel passionate about and that I really want to do. It doesn't pay right now. And, but I realize, like, when I look back over the 18 years, I realize, like, the big thorn in the side every single time was rent. That was the one thing that just sort of derailed everything. And then I thought, I always felt kind of insecure about the whole thing because, you're taught like, oh, you have to be a legit person, or to feel good about yourself, or to be a success, and you have to have this lifestyle. You have to have the have this nice house and stuff. I mean, I'm just telling you how I've been indoctrinated. Maybe for you it's different, but for me, this is what has happened. And part of that was my upbringing. I kind of was taught that, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, since I'm not following the traditional path, part of me wants to, be like, oh, look, I'm a success. Look at the house I'm in. Look at the car I drive, like that. Like, even though I'm doing the alternative living thing, or when I say, I mean, life, as far as not doing a 9 to 5 job, like, oh, look, I still have everything that you would get if you did have that traditional job career thing, and I'm just now realizing how much of that has been driving me. And then on top of that, I'm married. I have 4 kids. I mean, 3 of them live with me now. They're all teenagers. They're all in community college, and um, which I'm glad. I'm glad they're in community college because it's free. I mean, not only is it free, they actually pay them money. Um, they get these grants and stuff, and the classes are covered, and it's good. And I've been trying to teach them these ideas, about debt. I'm telling them not to get credit cards, blah blah blah. Don't go buy a car from the dealer and pay, go and, get a payment thing, instead, pay cash for a car, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. And, well, I guess the other thing is like, so I feel pressure as a parent to give them a certain lifestyle, and we're pressured to do that, right? Like, it's like, oh, if you don't live the traditional middle class life, you're neglecting your kids, right? It's like, although I don't know, that's a bunch of garbage, because I know a lot of wealthy families that are totally dysfunctional. Money definitely is not the only factor on that. I think it's, as long as you're providing the basics in a safe environment, outside and in, that's the main thing, And sure, if you can give them some extra stuff, but this soccer mom kind of paradigm that we're taught is just, I don't know. I mean, sure, some people live that, good for them, I guess, but it's just been too much of a conflict for me, honestly. So